Barack Obama's #1 enemy is the Republican Party and the conservative movement. You see, he gets animated. He doesn't need cue cards. He doesn't need teleprompter when he starts ripping into them. But when you get ISIS on the board or anything in the Middle East, very cautious, very precise, very don't want to offend them, don't want to make them mad.
Well, let me pick up on that.
I think it's very dangerous. Chris, I think it's really dangerous. I think the country's in more danger than people know.
Rush Limbaugh Sunday with Chris Wallace, calling out President Obama over what he sees as the president's eagerness to trash Republicans while trying to gloss over the criticism about his strategy on ISIS. Former New Hampshire Governor John Sununu, he was the White House Chief of Staff under President George H.W. Bush and the author of the new book, The Quiet Man, as well. Governor, good day to you on this Monday.
Happy Monday, William.
Thank you. Where are you on this argument about fighting Republicans instead of terrorists, as some have been alleging over the past week, Governor?
Well, Rush is absolutely right. This president wants to avoid the main issue and seeks to talk about everything else except the problems associated with ISIS and terrorism. Look, he's talking about refugees. He wants the U.S. to take up to 40,000. There are between 4 and 5 million Syrian refugees out there. So that even if we took 40,000, it's less than 1%. So as usual, the president's just trying to get some talking points by doing a token gesture. And what he is balancing against that is what we have to balance against that is the reality of the threat to security in the United States. This president has no idea what his responsibilities as leader of this country are.
Well, we're going to find out tomorrow in the French presence at the White House. Back to Limbaugh for a moment here. He made the point with Wallace that sensitivity is the priority. Listen here.
It's not about bigotry or racism or anti-ethnics or against certain nationalities. It's about the defense and protection of the United States of America and our Constitution, which is what is the primary job of the President of the United States. And again, he just doesn't seem to be oriented in that direction or interested in it.
He went on to say, as if it's time for payback for America. This is what Limbaugh's arguing here. Time for payback, time for us to find out what the rest of the world goes through every day. How are we to read that, Governor?
Look, I'm not sure exactly where Rush was taking that. I didn't see the whole thing myself. But the point is, with that many refugees, they ought to be settled near home, either in a safe haven in Syria or in some of the Arab lands that are adjacent to Syria. They don't have to be sent to Europe. They don't have to be sent to the U.S. They would rather be close to home. And the fact is that if we provided support and urged our allies, our Arab allies there, to be doing the right thing, then this token gesture, this sensitivity gesture of less than 1% of them would not have to be balanced against the potential of terrorism.
But Limbaugh said it's almost as though he, Obama, thinks that we've committed all these crimes since our founding, and then goes on to say it's time for us to bite the bullet, and finds it very troubling. Clearly you do as well. Here's what the polling now says, okay? Number one, the U.S. is at war with radical Islam. That's what the American public believe. Obama has not fought the war against ISIS with aggressive enough, and the war is going badly, number two. Number three, terrorism is now the top problem facing the country, and an attack here is likely soon. You were saying.
Look, America is concerned. They're concerned because there's a lack of leadership in the White House. They're concerned that there seems to be an effort coming out of the White House to try and do everything except deal with the reality of the terrorism issue and the problems of ISIS. And the more that goes on, the more concerned they're going to be, and the more the perception of America of this president will continue to plummet. He's already headed towards his lowest points.
Governor, thank you for your time. It was my sense that his tone changed a little bit on Sunday. We'll see if that continues or not. Thank you, Governor John Sununu there in New Hampshire today.